Our country, Trinidad and Tobago, continues to make its mark on the world. We've been doing so through our artists, our sportsmen, our carnivals, and through Miss Universe. We've carried our customs and culture to some of the major city centers of the world, London, Toronto, New York, and now we are making our presence felt in another major U.S. destination, South Florida. In celebration of our 36th anniversary of independence, we took Miami by storm. It was a show of real talent. It was a case of cultural colors. It was a showcase of our real colors. August 1998 made it approximately 1 year since Trinidad and Tobago established diplomatic relations in Miami. And within those 12 months, the Trinidad and Tobago Consulate has steadfastly practiced the tenets of our watchwords: discipline, production, and tolerance. The Consulate has worked assiduously to unite the leadership of the Carnival community in Miami. And at the same time, it has encouraged the formation of the Trinidad and Tobago USA Chamber of Commerce. By bringing the Trinidad and Tobago community together, the Consul General, Mr. Chandradath Singh, hopes to empower our countrymen and strengthen our voice in this part of the U.S. With this goal in mind, the Consul General and his staff and the Miami Museum of Science got together to show off our real colors.
This concept for real colors came about because of the fact that as I moved from function to function in South Florida, I come upon the whole debate about, the origin of calypso and steel band and limbo. There's a big debate about what part of the Caribbean these art forms come from. I also come face to face with the tremendous disparity in the level of presentation that you have by numerous programmings you have here in Carnival and in calypso shows and in chutney shows. And we at the consulate here thought that we had an opportunity by partnering with the Miami Science Museum and the Smithsonian Museum to try and demonstrate some of the real cultural practices of Trinidad and Tobago. So Real Colors gives us a chance to show to the public some elements of our culture with authenticity and creating the environment of Trinidad and Tobago, and as much as we can do with the limited resources that we have to create a real color.
Miami, as you know, is a cruise center of the world, and ships leave from here. People are all excited about Caribbean cruises, and we said, well, let's see the Caribbean from the other side, not from Trinidad and Tobago coming north, but from the north coming south. And as we stopped in the different islands, we discovered that there waiting on the dock would be a Panside and a Calypsonian, and they'd be singing Sparrow or Kitchener or Rudder. And we said, but just a minute. The identity of the island was that of Trinidad and Tobago, but nobody was saying that this is the music of Trinidad and Tobago. The Americans tend to see this musical expression as island culture. Little do they realize that each of the islands has an identity, and more so Trinidad and Tobago, which is the birthplace of indigenous art forms, which are now adopted by all the islands, and they lay claim to them. So we said, let's put things in perspective. There's a new consulate for Trinidad and Tobago in Miami. We have a wonderful opportunity to bring our community together to show to the Americans what the real colors of Trinidad and Tobago are.
And the show of our real colors began on August 27th with the arrival of royalty. Dressed in the red of the national colors, representing the vitality and vigor of our people, the Queen of the Universe, Wendy Fitzwilliam, was the guest of honor at our vibrant display of living culture.
I'm very happy to be here again in Miami, particularly for this celebration, celebrating Trinidad and Tobago culture or independence, and doing it with the museum. I think this is a very important, significant move for the Trinidadians here in Miami. I'm so happy that the museum has seen it fit to include us in mainstream America. It means a great deal to us. Thank you very much.
And of course, another member of the regal fraternity, dressed superbly in blue, the undisputed international monarch of soca, Super Blue, was part of the royal entourage. Together with the Kokorit Ujama folk performers and the Shiv Shakti dancers, they added to the heat of the night on this colorful Miami evening. Real Colors, a celebration of our 36th anniversary of independence, a Trinidad and Tobago extravaganza in Miami.
Multi-ethnicity presents multi-colors. Each ethnicity brought with it its traditions. Those traditions were preserved, but in many cases they adapted new forms. They adopted new forms where you see that the tambu bamboo of Africa became the steel pan. The social commentary, again, of Africa became calypso, and then the derivative of soca. You see that the traditional Indian folk songs, which were the Bhojpuri songs, which were called chatak, became the chutney of Trinidad and Tobago when the combination of a full orchestra, a full brass band, accompanied a singer, and he added a few English words to the Hindi words, and there was this new mix. So essentially what Real Colors intended to portray was that something emerged in Trinidad and Tobago that gave it its identity.
And this identity was very evident in the logo used for Real Colors.
I have painted the logo design because that is my impression of Trinidad and Tobago. The national colors wash the two islands, red, white, and black, across Trinidad and Tobago, connecting the two islands. The art forms, the indigenous art forms that have taken expression in the recent years of Carnival, calypso, and steel band, these take a prominent place on the logo design, not forgetting the Chinese element of our community, or the Syrian Lebanese, the Middle Eastern element, and of course the Indian element. And each of these elements have contributed to making Trinidad and Tobago what it is. And here in Miami, we're trying to depict all of this through lectures and demonstrations and seminars. And as you see, we have a food court, which is full of the flavors of Trinidad and Tobago, the Spanish cuisine, the Creole African cuisine, the Indian cuisine, and so much more.
And as you can imagine, the preparations for a cultural extravaganza of this magnitude took on the dimensions of Diwali, Christmas, and Carnival, rolled all into one.
So you see what's happening.
This is Real Colors, a Trinidad and Tobago extravaganza in Miami. The venue for Real Colors was the compound of the Miami Museum of Science. Trinidad and Tobago was on display, and the residents of South Florida were the spectators. They came to the show in strollers. Others came strolling. Some came on their own. Others came hand in hand. Still others pointed out to us that there were some who came to dance. Of course, some came to drink, and others just came for lunch. While some were curious and decided to check, others stood in their shoes and wondered. Some came depending on each other. Some came to show off their independence. They came in ones, in twos, in threes, in fours. They just came. To sum it up, they came, they saw, and they counted. There was one Trini who thought it a must to be at this occasion. She took the time from her busy schedule. She came in transit to visit Real Colors.
Trinidad and Tobago is a land of every color, of every creed and every race, standing side by side. May we enter into the new millennium with joy in our hearts, but united with one common purpose and one destiny.
Real Colors, a Trinidad and Tobago extravaganza in Miami.
You're listening to the tuning of a pan behind you. This is part of Real Colors. We want to show the people that pan was born in this land. It had a historical growth from tambour bamboo to the duduk, and then the more addition of notes until you have today the very fine chrome-plated pan.
Classics in India are of a spiritual nature because it is believed that the Creator has to be honored in all of life, so that architecture, dance, music, drama, poetry, in their classical form are all devotional. And that's a very interesting fact about the Indian culture.
Apart from the lectures and workshops, spectators were also treated to a reenactment of a Hindu wedding. And they also discovered the beauty of African fashions and traditions. Trinidad and Tobago Extravaganza in Miami. To many spectators, Real Colors was like a dream come true. As evening fell and things began to warm up, the grounds of the Miami Museum took on the ambience of the big yard. Masqueraders made their grand stand before the Miami crowd. And in the conventional category, the Miami Pan Symphony, with the full support of followers and pan pushers, made their grand entrance onto the Miami stage with the scintillating sound of steel. And in the midst of all this excitement, even the best of pan players can succumb to the heat of a panoramic moment. Wherever sailors go, they will always misbehave. Tantalizing beat of the tassa triggered tremors among some of us, and then caused others to tremble. At the same time, an infectious energy was emanating from the engine room of the steel band. And in some instances, after a hard evening's jump up, young legs need to take refuge on the side of the big truck. And while it was way past bedtime for this young reveler, his fetting friend would have none of that. Trinidad and Tobago in Miami, a milieu of madness and merriment that was real At the end of the day, everything was sold. The pepper sauces, the pastries, the polori, and even the pepper chana. An indication that Trinidad and Tobago was sold lock, stock, and barrel to the people of South Florida and beyond. Congratulations are in order to the Consul General, his wife, and the staff of the Miami Consulate in their efforts at sharing the real colors of Trinidad and Tobago to yet another part of the world.
Well, we would like to continue to maintain as our focus trade, investment, and tourism promotion, because we think that that's critical to us. We'd also like to continue to build upon the momentum we have built with our nationals here in this part of the United States of America, which I think is a tremendous relationship. As you would see in real colors, this is a partnership with the community. What we have been able to achieve here over the past year would not have been quite that possible without the active participation of the entire Trinidad and Tobago community. So I see as one of our aims building upon that partnership which we have established with the community